Are y'all ready to watch me surprise people with some free art? Hey, wonderful people. Grace of Fiery Raptor Creative here. This is going to be my first art fight video. I had such a fun time this year that I wanted to document it in the form of a video. So here goes. First of all, a little overview. We are going to talk about what Art Fight is. Also, we're going to talk about what I painted this year and then the art that I received, which will make sense in just a second. Before we get started, the time lapse in the background is of my characters that I posted to Art Fight. I hope to do a future video where I yap about them because their stories are still in development. Except for Theo and the Bookworm, both of those characters' short story has actually been released this year. You can officially buy it. You can buy the short story collection that their short story is in on my website, which is linked in the description. First, what is Art Fight? In a nutshell, it's a free online art gifting game during the month of July, where artists make art of each other's original characters, also called OCs, for points. There is no artist skill level required to participate in Art Fight, and no minimum involvement required. You can join the site and just watch the fight if you want. This is not a video about how to participate or how to play Art Fight, so if you want that info, I'd encourage you to read the instructions on Art Fight's page. I will link that in the description. The biggest thing I want you to know about it is that it's fun, chill. It's a game where you basically get points for gifting art to people. You can do as much or as little as you want, and it's supposed to be a fun time to meet people and practice your art skills. All you need to know for this video about Art Fight's rules is that art I make of other people's characters is called an attack, art that I receive of my characters is called a defense, and finally, when I attack someone who has already sent me a defense, that's called a revenge. Last year, I only did 3 attacks, and I had a few massive life events happen right after and as the fight ended. So it took me a while to get back to people that sent me defenses, but I so appreciated every one I got. This year, we have less going on, and I needed some fun, low-stress art time. My goals for Art Fight this year were 1. Do 5 attacks, 2. Do my first revenge, 3. Draw only characters that I think are fun to draw. This is super important to avoid lack of motivation or artistic burnout during the month. 4. Give myself a rendering or painting time limit so I don't get too perfectionistic. I don't know about you, but when I make art for other people, I sometimes can get caught up in trying to make it perfect, and I really wanted to focus on just making people's day, knowing that it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. So I had to give myself a limit so I didn't overfinish every piece that I started. Goal 5 is draw characters from people that are newer or have fewer pieces of art. This is a personal goal of mine, so I can spread some joy. And then 6, make some pieces that I am proud enough to display on my website. That's more of a marketing business goal for myself. The goal that gets me the most excited about Art Fight every year is trying to find newer characters or newer players with few or no attacks yet, and giving them a gift that I hope they really love. I still remember how it felt to get my first defense, and I want to spread that special feeling to as many people as possible. That said, I found so many characters that I was excited to attack this year, so let's dive into the second part of the video. For my first attack this year, I wanted something in my comfort zone that would be fun to draw and not too difficult. I had bookmarked this spooky little guy, this character, Athol, who belongs to an Art Fight user called Countertop Crows. Hopefully I'm saying this guy's names correctly, but he reminds me of a cryptid or a spirit in folktales, like the kind where you're not sure whether they're coming to give you gifts or curse you. I like the fluffy bird plus cat design, and the mask, or maybe it's a skull, is a cool touch. This attack came together way faster than I anticipated and really set the vibe for the rest of the fight for me. That vibe being I was able to do more attacks than I expected, like a whole lot more attacks than I expected, and I had a ton of fun surprising people with art. I decided to give this character a hint of a background to add to the mysterious tone that this character sets for me. Also, I had trouble finding other characters like this one, which are like feral beasties or mythical creatures of some kind, but I really love drawing those. So if any of you other art fighters happen to be watching this video and you have a mythical creature of some kind, send me a comment. I would love to check them out. I gave myself a hard rendering limit this art fight so the perfectionism wouldn't get to me. And even with that limit in place, I really loved how this little dude came together. My second attack this year was one, and the only one, I decided to do emotes for. I saw this lovely character from the user Liapon. Apologies if I said your user wrong, or to any future usernames that I saw you wrong. I probably will. The color palette of this character is super cool and very outside of what I normally choose. I don't use a lot of pastel colors very often, and this character has so much lore. This character is called Livia Zhu, and they are a Minecraft OC that Liapon made. Also, apologies if I said the character's name wrong. In my own words, based on reading this character's profile, she is a scholar with illusion magic, gentle and sweet on the outside, but hiding a questionable interior. She has a passion for learning, or more accurately, a passion for the belief that knowledge is power, to the point that she is willing to manipulate others, even slightly altering the truth for the sake of her studies. She is guarded and compassionate for the people she cares about, but very condescending, arrogant, and vain in general. She fears having that part of her nature revealed. She seems like she would make a very good morally gray character in a story, or perhaps a character that switches allegiances halfway through, or maybe even a villain. She seems like the type of character to either start out sweet, and then as you get to know her, she reveals herself to be quite dangerous, but has the potential to come around to become a more wholesome person over time. I don't know, just random ideas that I had after reading the profile. If you want to know more about this character, go read their actual profile on Artfight. It describes her better there. Since this character is a Minecraft character, and I like Minecraft, I thought this OC deserved some emotes. This attack was a bit more of a stretch for me. I have only recently branched out into doing stickers and other simpler type designs. My default style tends to be very realistic and comic booky, so learning how to do simple emotes and chibis has been super fun, but also a bit of a harsh learning curve. After doing this attack, I really want to practice doing more emotes so I can improve my skills. It was a fun experiment this time around. My third attack was on Willow 668's character, Willow Rosalina, and all I needed to see for this one was she's got dragonish wings and a red dress. Dragons, winged characters, and the color blood red are three things I love immensely. So this character very quickly made it into my attack queue. As I mentioned earlier, one of the main appeals of Artfight, for me specifically, is I wanted to primarily attack new characters or characters and users without previous attacks. So this was kind of the beginning of my true dive into that. I had so much fun rendering this character. The pose was a bit of a struggle trying to make all four wings work, but I have to figure it out, because one of my OCs also has four wings. It was a fun struggle. I also scoured Pinterest until I found a really cool pose to use for her. I love doing super dynamic poses, and I especially wanted to incorporate her scythe weapon into the pose, like she's fighting with it. As much as swords are cool, I'm here for an unconventional weapon. Willow 668 didn't have a lot of details about this character up yet on her profile as of me recording this, so I don't know a lot about this character's backstory or details to share. I'd love to ask more about people's OCs, but one of my personal rules is that I want to surprise people, and I feel like asking a question gives it away, kind of. It does run the risk of me making a mistake with the design or drawing the character doing something that maybe they wouldn't do, so I try to religiously read their character permissions. No matter the details, this character definitely has got elegant but lethal vibes for sure. You may notice after this point that all my attacks have a similar background to this one, and that's because I loved how it turned out so much with the old paper texture and the echo of them fading into the background. It feels very D&D Monster Manual, and it kind of reminds me of the book Dracopedia by William O'Connor, who is one of my favorite artists. And the design and aesthetic of that book is really beautiful and interesting to me. So I decided that all the rest of my attacks would run the same sort of design theme from this point on. Running a design theme for multiple pieces of art is a really rare thing for me. I tend to be a very erratic artist, so this is a victory. A small one, but it is a victory. My fourth attack was of Neptune's character Inertia, a goblin wizard who is crowdfunding her future wizard tower. I really wanted to draw at least one goblin this art fight. I have a goblin OC that does not yet have a character ref sheet, so I had to do something in their honor. The fact that this character was whimsical and a little silly made me so happy. I greatly enjoy fantasy characters that are a little silly or self-aware, but not straight up goofy. I sketched this character with a staff, got halfway through the drawing, and then realized that the ref sheet has no staff to speak of. Oops. I feel like she could have a staff, so I decided to roll with it. I'd make the staff cool, at least. The other thing about Inertia's design is that she's got a pretty elegant, even princessy outfit for our goblin. That element was a neat betrayal of tropes for me, and I wish for this attack that I had more time to embellish her outfit in accordance with my style and level of usual detail. But during this stage of art fight, I was afraid to add or alter anything to anyone's design, even though I thought they'd like it, so I held myself back. I do think that if I could do this attack again, I would adjust the pose to be less stiff and take the staff away. But an attack is an attack, so I shipped it out. I do really like how her face came out, though. It was also super fun to do the flowy capelet or cloak thing that she has. I love the chance to paint translucent fabric or anything sparkly. My fifth attack was for Cars_Happens of their character Patches. Patches is a songwriter raccoon. He's in a band and is supposed to be a level-headed and smart character, according to his description. I immediately read those traits and thought, this guy must be a chill and unflappable sort of dude. Maybe I thought wrong, but that's where my brain went. He kind of reminds me of my brothers that play music. Shout out to my brother aside, I wanted to capture a chill sort of emotion to this guy. He's a musician, but doesn't seem like the type of guy to be taken in with the fame or fortune part of it. So I went for a casual, hey dude, kind of expression and a slouching sort of posture. I haven't drawn a guitar maybe ever before, so I wanted to make sure I had both the character's reference available and a reference image of a real guitar. If I messed up on basic guitar anatomy, my dad would come after me. And I wanted to make sure to be able to show him this drawing after I finished it. I tried to think about this character's backstory and circumstances and add details to his design based on that. I ended up adding some gray and white to his shoes, and my favorite embellishment for this design was adding some patches to his vest. Patches, get it? I didn't even realize what I did until I wrote this. I didn't have a huge clue what types of imagery this guy would sport, but based on some of the other characters in his band, I think he probably is in the alt fashion crowd, maybe leaning in a punk rock direction? I don't know a lot about that type of fashion, but I think it looks cool, and I like the customization and self-expression that comes with that style. I'm here for more clothes with paint and embroidery and patchwork. I think adding customizations to clothing is so cool. I added a patch that said Rebel and a few other random ones that I sort of came up with in the moment. I'd love to have taken some more time to think about what types of other patches or embellishments this guy's clothing could have, but alas, I have given myself a rendering limit, and I need to wrap this up. And that's it for my first 5 attacks of this art fight season, completing my 2026 goal of 5 attacks. But Grace, you say, what about your first revenge? Aha, well, I forgot to mention that I got sort of carried away and did not only my first revenge, but an additional 7, 8, at least 10 more attacks this year. Yeah. Since I have so much art, I thought that the revenge and the rest of my attacks deserved another video. I should have that uploaded soon. Before I sign out, I have my first 2 defenses of the 2026 art fight season to show you. First, I have this super cute scene of my character, Theo the Griffin, which happens to be a revenge from Cars_Happens. They revenged me for my attack of Patches, the songwriter raccoon, and look at this. It's my boy Theo doing his job. I love that they included his bag. It's so cute. I love it. Second, I got this beautiful attack of my fairy dryad character, Aspen, from Witch Hannah Smith. She designed a whole bookmark with Aspen on it, and her attention to detail is amazing. I seriously might print this out and use it. It's so cool. Well, that's all, folks. Stay nerdy, and I'll see you in the next one.